January 20th is known as Blue Monday. It is considered the most depressing day of the year, but I don't know about you, when there is so little daylight and it can be so cold outside, well, you aren't alone if this time of year maybe has you in a little bit of a funk. Help us here. Researchers at Concordia University are looking into ways to brighten people's mental health. Their work is called Noticing Nature Intervention, and Holli-Anne Passmore is the lead author of the study. Hello, Holli-Anne. Thank you for being here.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. This is exciting.
So what is the basis of this research that you're doing?
The focus really is about noticing the everyday nature around you and how it makes you feel. That's what the whole intervention is. And people who do this once, every day for about 2 weeks in the past, and I've run this numbers of times in Canada and the States and in China, end up have significant boosts to their positive emotions, to their feeling transcendent connectedness. So this big feeling of connected to everything and everybody, which is a big part of meaning in life, actually. Sense of this composite emotion called elevation. And that's this real mix. I love this emotion. It's this mix of feeling awe, deeply grateful, profoundly moved, spiritually uplifted, and of course, somewhat elevated. And so that's what we're trying to do. And we're trying to do this in the winter. We've done this once before, a couple years ago in the winter. And that study is published. However, we had a really small sample size. So I wanted to try this again, and I wanted to try this with university students. So that's the gist of what we're looking at. How can nature help us improve our well-being?
Yeah. So when you talk about everyday nature, are you talking about getting outside more, or how do you define nature?
I let our participants define that. We often think of nature as, I couldn't get to nature because we have to go out, we have to get to the mountains, or we have to get to Elk Island Park, which is great, and I want people to do that. Or the next thing they'll say, I couldn't get to the park. But I always refer to it as the bird at the bus stop, the tree at the bus stop, right? The plants in our house. We can sit inside and look out at nature. It's all around us. We just tend to not notice it. And that's such an important factor, particularly because I honestly can't stress this enough. At every single one of my studies, in not one of those studies have the people who've been just randomly assigned to notice nature, have they actually spent more time in nature than the other participants. People aren't spending more time in nature. They're just noticing it.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that is something like that if I'm on vacation or something like that, I'm so much more aware of my surroundings. Like you say, to take that minute and, like you say, look outside or take in your environment. So could this be a part of a long-term solution that you could see towards helping people with their mental health?
I very much think so. I've done some follow-up studies. Granted, they've been short, so 1 week, and we see that those benefits last for the week, particularly that composite emotion I was talking about elevation, awe and wonder and gratitude and appreciation. Pretty important stuff. Well, we tend to think of well-being as happy, and it's part of it, but it's a pretty small slice of the pie here. So I think that I think we need to be careful with saying that anything, certainly it's not like everything about nature isn't fantastic, right? No, and I happen to really like winter, but if it's minus 35 and I'm not dressed properly, or a couple of summers ago and we're backcountry canoeing, and I have never in my life been attacked by that many mosquitoes. I was not a particularly happy little camper at that point. Wasn't particularly fond of that aspect of nature. So it's not a panacea. Nothing is. And we obviously, I think, we need to go after mental health in many ways. The thing about this particular Noticing Nature intervention is that it's accessible for everybody. You have plants in your home. You can look outside, just looking outside if you can't physically get outside or you're not going outside that day. It's just at the bus stop. It's everywhere around us. And of course, if we have, people can get out to the river valley, we evolved in a natural environment, and we evolved to respond to nature, respond to it emotionally. And so that's, whether we recognize it or not, that is within us. Right. And people tend to, and I've tested this in research, people tend to adhere to nature kind of interventions more than they do to other kinds of interventions, well-being interventions. Of course, it's not going to solve every problem, But wow, is that one little boost to your day that people can build on?
I think it's a great idea. And again, as somebody who enjoys getting outside, I also could increase my appreciation for it from inside too. Holli-Anne, it has been so nice speaking with you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me. It's been wonderful.